Good Tuesday afternoon to you. Welcome to the Jon Sanchez Show on Newstalk 780 KOH. It's a pleasure to be with you. A pleasure to be with one of our two. The third one's going to join us. It's got to be the snow gods this morning or this afternoon, Dwight, that are just wreaking havoc on all the technology. My goodness,
And
I
and
couldn't
it's
do
the
it. We're
techie
waiting
one
for
out of
Aaron.
all of us, right? It's the
I know,
techie
I
one.
know, I know, I know. Isn't
Yeah.
that the truth? My goodness.
I like your backdrop there, John.
Thank you,
Yeah, I
thank you,
like
thank
it.
you. Got a little remodel done in the office, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's feeling good. Still
Looks like a
still got a
comfy
few.
chair and everything.
Yep, yep,
Looking
yep.
looking good. Looking
Almost
good.
as good
Like it.
as you. Almost good as you. Absolutely. How was the long weekend, first of all, my friend?
It was good. It was good.
Good, good.
It was nice. Yours,
Glad to hear it.
your weekend do it? You sound better. You sound like you're
Yeah,
feeling better.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Good.
yeah. Knock on
You
wood.
needed
There he
some
is,
rest.
Mr. Aaron Clark. Welcome, buddy.
How's it going? I
Good.
was here and I just disappeared.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
I know that's same thing happened to me. I couldn't hear myself. I couldn't. Yeah, I don't know what the heck happened. Like I said, we got some snow demons or something that got to us. But hey, we're all here now and we're all ready to go. So good to see you, first of all, Mr. Clark. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hope Corey's nice and cold out at his track practice today.
Going
Yeah,
on
I'm not
today.
sure there's a lot of track going
I
on.
don't know about that. I remember running many track practices and many track meets in the great Nevada snowstorms.
Well, hopefully they
Hey,
have
Bill,
their snowshoes on.
there you go. There you go. Yeah, it's piling up quick. That's for sure. All righty, fellas. Well, again, great to be with you today and great to welcome back Aaron one more time. Of course, we always love having him on the show. And today, Aaron is, for those of you that don't know, Aaron is the youngster of the group, right? He is also the tech junkie of the group, right? And so I don't feel bad, Dwight, that I was having tech problems when this tech genius, on the other side of the screen here, could not get in because he is anybody I know that's in tech. He is one that has things absolutely nailed all of the time. Um, Aaron, this is going to be all about you. We're going to be talking about how technology is redefining real estate. And I when I knew you were going to be on the show, I'm like, okay, we got to do a tech segment for Aaron because we haven't touched on this in quite some time with you, and it's really an important issue going on. We spend a lot of time on this program on Mondays when I have my brother on. We talk about AI every single Monday, and let's get this related over to the real estate side of things because there's an old saying, Aaron, and we all know that, and that is when it comes to real estate, it was always location, location, location. Now it's speed, data, and execution, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And all of the cool tools that are coming out, I mean, they're changing constantly to just upgrade even more and more
Isn't that the
abilities
truth?
to find things. So it's great.
Yes, yes, absolutely. What kind of things are we going to get into with you today? Again, you're of the younger demographic of the real estate professionals that are out there. So I imagine we're going to get in some AI driven property analysis and many other great things.
Yeah, exactly. We'll look at some of that and basically how to identify what properties are going to be good values for investment, or when we're listing a property, what kind of trends that we can see before reports come out. We go over the report every month that it comes out, and that's
Exactly.
great, but that information's pretty old by the time we get our hands on
Yeah.
it. So,
In the world of
and we
technology,
get
it's
it
ancient.
first. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah. So
Exactly.
using AI, we can do things like scrub data directly from the MLS to see what kind of trends are happening within neighborhoods.
Not to let the cat out of the bag real quick, but I was curious about that. I always think about that when we do that report. Are you literally taking that data that we share with the audience and dumping it into AI and getting a whole different view of it versus what just the report shows?
Well, the data that you get in the report is sort of the compilement at the end of the month for the previous
Okay.
month.
Right.
And when we can actually log in and see the real-time data up to the minute for that day and that week and month, et cetera.
Right.
But it's not in a
Right.
report format. It's just the basic information of what's happening that day. So if you
Okay.
take that information, look at the trends, take the trend information, add it into AI, and then pull, let's say, all the homes that sold in the last 30, 60, and 90 days within a neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
you can start to develop data that will give you projections on whether or not a market is softening or it's increasing or it's, getting higher than asking, things like that for that neighborhood. So it's way more the sniper approach than the shotgun approach.
Okay, that was
Yeah.
going to be my point. How accurate is this? So the laser beam is fixed on the target and it's nailing right into there.
I mean, as well as you can. So right now with AI, the big thing is figuring out how to use prompts, right?
Yes.
So as long as the prompting is accurate and well described, then it's very accurate. And usually when we get some sort of response back that may not exactly have the data we need, it's our fault. We need to tweak some things because the math is the math. The math is never not mathing. It's usually what we're trying to get it to spit out. We're not using the right verbiage or whatever, so we make
Right,
adjustments.
right.
Yeah, and every house is slightly different, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and I'm glad you brought up about the prompts, Aaron, because that is one of the secrets with using, I don't care which large language model you're using, whether it's Chat GPT or Copilot, it doesn't matter. You have to put in what you want out of there. The more generic you are, the more generic answer. The more defined you are, the more defined answer that you're going to get, or answers. And Dwight, I was thinking about you yesterday because I know you're just getting into the AI side of stuff also. And
How do you know this is me?
yeah, really. I know that handsome face
I'll
anywhere.
I'll just talk like a bot, right?
There you go. Yeah, the
Yeah.
thing is, they
Yeah.
don't talk like bots. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
But I yesterday, having the day off, I sat down, had some lunch, and I turned on YouTube, as I always do on my TV while I eat, and I came across this incredible, relatively short, about 9-10 minute video of this young man doing it. And what he was talking about, what Aaron was and Dwight, was something that I've never really let it saturate in my mind. And that is, he said, look, at exactly what you said, Aaron. He goes, the prompts people think are the key to everything. He said, but the answer is yes, you have to put in the correct prompts. Tell me exactly, what a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot home in Southwest Reno, what's been the median price for 2022, 2023, so on and so forth. The more specific you can ask it, the more specific the answer. But what this video went on to talk about, which I thought was absolutely fascinating, is for guys like you and I that are not the tech junkies like Aaron is, he brought up one very important point. And he said, the key to being successful with AI is look at yourself as an orchestra conductor. And there was this image, if you guys can visualize this, where this almost a cartoon character was standing in the center of a room, and instead of desk around him like a manager would have and pointing the finger saying, you need to work faster, you need to do this, those were all bots. And the key is knowing how to ask those bots to do what you want to do. So Dwight, like in your situation, being in the world of mortgages, I know, AI is creeping in there just like in our world, but my gosh, it was just mind-boggling to watch this video and see exactly how someone that really knows how to use AI, what they can do. And Aaron, I'm going to throw you in that category that knows how to use it. But my gosh, guys, in the topic of the article or topic of the video was something Dennis and my brother talk about a lot, which is the solopreneur, how literally so many people are going out there as solopreneurs and literally making millions of dollars with no employees, no brick and mortar, basically no overhead, because they are a great conductor and they're having the bots do everything. Like in your world, right? They're having the bot create the social media postings.
Yeah.
And then when that lead comes in, puts them into the funnel system and starts sending them articles and great things about you and reviews and on and on and on. And then it asks them to schedule the appointment with you. They schedule the appointment. The bot then turns around and confirms the appointment and then starts sending them, hey, don't forget your appointment with Dwight at 3:00 on Wednesday, and so on and so forth. Where the only thing you're really doing is what you do best, which is the human being, the human interaction. And Aaron, I thought about you also, and that was, he was very, very emphatic to say AI will never replace human beings. The people that are going to lose their jobs are the ones that have mundane tasks, right? The data entry, that type of thing, because obviously AI can do it so much faster and obviously cheaper. But he said the human relationship side, he said, what you have to do is you have to look at it. I mean, all three of us are in the service business. You have to look at it and say, okay, AI is going to make me a better realtor, advisor, mortgage banker, that type of thing, because it's going to relieve me of all the mundane things that I don't want to do. And I think all of us, we're all very mature in our careers. There's a lot of things we don't like to do, but there's a lot of things we love to do, which is dealing with new clients, our existing clients, and handling problems and things like that. So that's why I wanted to kind of pick this topic, Aaron, and let you run with it to see what you're actually using it and how you're using it in the world of real estate. So going to be a great topic. All right, fellas, let's take our first break. Let's turn it over to a very, very busy Kristen Snow. How are we doing out there, my dear, or dare I ask? Welcome back to the Jon Sanchez Show on Newstalk 780 KOH with Aaron Clark of Edge Realty and Dwight Millard.
Yes, sir.
Well, guys, I'm going to make it really simple because we do have a lot to talk about on the real estate side. Again, how technology is redefining real estate success. But I'll give you a brief 2-minute review of the stock market if it even takes me that long. Lack of conviction today, still more of the same earlier in the session, rotating out of software, rotating out of some of the AI areas. more of the same from last week. What was different today? The buyers finally stepped in. They didn't step in with great conviction, but they finally stepped in. We finished with a modest loss of 32 on the Dow to 49,533. NASDAQ rose 32 at a close of 22,578. S&P higher by 7 points to close at 6,483. And actually finished unchanged on the small caps, the Russell 2000. On the commodity side of things, we lost 52 cents on oil to 62.33 a barrel. Gold got hit pretty good today, though. Down $138 at 4,906.10 an ounce. And Mr. Millard, a big old goose egg for you on that 10-year Treasury yield, 4.05. How did we do on the mortgage side?
Where are those lower rates at, John? I mean, where are
close,
they at?
Man.
We're getting there.
As soon as you pierce 6%, but you're close, it's going to happen for you.
It's an amazing, dynamic going on. But so we finished out today, like you said, a goose egg, 6.04 on the 30-year fixed according to Mortgage News Daily. Again, the winners in town are the FHA and VAs at 5.63 and 5.6, 5. I mean, these are just phenomenal. And your 15-year, which you like, is at 5.61. So, we are. I would hope that if we could get a little bit of a run, 2-3 days, we'll be inside that 6. So maybe that's a huge mental.
Well, this volatility, Dwight, in the stock market, this is what's been favoring you, right? People, again, we're seeing the rotation. We're talking about rotation out of some of the tech sectors. You're seeing the rotation just out of the equity market in general. And of course, it's finding the safe haven of the bonds. And, frankly, here we said, at a 4.05 10-year yield. Believe it or not, a lot of people are pretty thrilled to get 4% by the backing of the government, right? I think you've got some momentum right now in the bond market side of things until the stock market settles down a little bit. I think we got some more volatility ahead of us on the market side. So I am very confident you're going to see that 30-year break that 6%.
John, what do you have as a likelihood of an interest rate? That's what we're starting to see now is the likelihood with the employment numbers, blah, 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 last week. I mean, are you seeing a high probability? Or is it... I'm
still in the two interest rate cut camp, Dwight, but the street is now at 3. So after we got the CPI data last week, the street bumped it up from 2 to 3 interest rate cuts in 2026. First one being in June. So
not till June.
Not till June. Yeah.
Okay.
So of course, as you guys well know, we have a new Federal Reserve chairman in mid-May. I could see it as long as this gentleman follows what the president wants, which we all think that he will. I wouldn't be surprised if literally the day after he is sworn in and he's sitting at Jerome Powell's desk, that he doesn't come out and go, emergency rate cut. I'm cutting rates 0.25% or even 0.5%, and just shock and awe the bond market and the world to say, look at folks, low interest rates are here now that I'm sitting in this seat. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either.
You just never know with this administration. You never know. All right, just a couple standouts I want to mention, then we're going to get to our real estate. Apple was a big star today, $8.10 rise. Man, the stock has just been on a tear regardless of what the overall market conditions have been. 3.17% gain, 263.88. They announced they going to be releasing some new MacBooks and other computer-related type of products. I believe it's March the 4th, so the street got real excited about that. NVIDIA, $2.16 increase, 184.97. Broadcom was a good performer, $7.37 rise. Google down about $3.20. Amazon finally snapped a, I think, 7-day losing streak, if I remember, gained about $2.36 to 201.15. Rest of it was just, kind of a mixture. There's really no huge standouts whatsoever.
John, can I ask you a quick question? Do you think that part of that inflation data, nobody's talking about oil and the prices of oil, right? I mean, they're just not. Is that, you think, contributing really not big time to the inflation numbers coming down?
Yeah, it is. But if we have the PPI this week. When we had CPI, it did show oil prices came down. It showed trucks came down. It showed shelter was down. Not huge numbers, but definitely trending down towards the downside, Dwight. But you're absolutely right. I'm surprised that oil is still holding in here above $62, right? We had a brief period after Venezuela. We took over Venezuela and got our hands on a whole bunch of oil. We dip below that 60 mark. I think if we can get that oil down below 60 consistently, like 53 to maybe $58 range, then I think, and we have it for at least a month, so it will be, a key component of the next CPI report that we get for the month of February. I'm talking if this happens soon. Yeah, I think you could see that inflation number come way down, and then that would feed into. I mean, think about this logic. If that inflation number comes down, then once again, now that's going to be more ammunition for the Fed to start cutting rates sooner rather than later. So, yeah,
John,
that's a great point.
There's people out there that are saying that lowering rates does not necessarily contribute to inflation. And that's true, right? I mean, lower rates doesn't mean that
Yeah,
inflation will come back.
I don't think there's one answer for that, because we've all been around this game a long time and we've all seen where you can have very low rates, right? Let's go back to, when was our last, what was the exact years, Dwight, that we had 2-3% mortgages? What year was that, or years? That was
19, 20, 21.
Yeah, 19 and 20. So you can say, okay, rates are low, people are refinancing, they're getting big chunks of cash, they're going to go out and they're going to go buy new cars, they're going to go buy new motorcycles and boats and whatever else they're going to spend that money on. That's an inflationary pressure, right? If they start to do that. So you can have a low interest rate environment and inflation go up. And that's what I mean. It just depends upon where we are leading into that decline in interest rates, and where we are on an inflationary basis, right? If we're at rock bottom, like we were stuck at 2.2, 2.3 for seemed like a million years on the CPI, and then all of a sudden now, after COVID and stuff, we started to see it shoot up. So yeah, I think it's just a case by case basis is the bottom line.
We're going to find out, like you said, in May.
Yes, we are. It's going to be an interesting year. Feels like the year we've already got about 8 months under our belt, but yeah, we're only a month and a half into this thing. All right, when we come back, we're going to get into the world of real estate with Aaron and Dwight, and really start talking about how younger agents use AI, how they're using it for property analysis, data tools to spot trends before they hit the MLS, right? How CRMs, meaning client relation or customer relation models and machines, how they are automating to stay on top of your mind as a buyer or a seller. I mean, it's fascinating, folks. If you've been out of the world of real estate for a while and you decide to buy or sell, like let's say this year or something, you're going to be blown away with the tools that people like Aaron, and again, more the younger generation. And Aaron, I've got to do this because I always tease you about being the young one, but it's not like you're some 20-year-old kid. How old are you now? There you go. Still the young kid of the group, though. Corey's 50 and Dwight and I are 61, so you're still the young buck, son. All right, excited to get back with you guys. Let's turn it over to Jack Saban. He's got news, traffic, and weather. Welcome back to the Jon Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH with Aaron Clark of Edge Realty and, of course, Dwight Millard. All right, once again, we had just a modest trading session, just a 32-point gain on the Dow. NASDAQ rose 32 also, and the S&P negative by 7. All right, it's time that we move into our real estate topic today. And once again, we're going to really get into how technology is redefining real estate. And joining us again, Aaron Clark. He is a very, very tech savvy. We were just talking at the break of some of his internal mechanisms and things of what he does is I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a word. Not one word, but yeah, pretty impressive how you do that. All right, let's get into it, Aaron. The reality. Again, tech alone is not going to close the deal. You still need that human intervention.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you still need that interface with somebody to take the data and analyze it and say, okay, now that we've dumped everything and we've gotten all of our data points and we figured out what we're going to do and plan for whatever using AI, we still have to take that information and go, okay, so what's the strategy? Now let's put the strategy together for either purchasing investment property, selling a home. Some neighborhoods, we have multiple properties that are similar, so we have a lot of competition. We need to figure out how to, market directly using that data so that we can move things within a quick time frame, perhaps. If there isn't a lot of competition, how much more higher percentage could we get above our asking price if we were to price it right, because the competition is so low and the demand is so high? So we still have to analyze the data and then make informed decisions with it. But it's just getting a lot more precise. Like I said, I hate to use the analogy again, but it's a sniper approach as opposed to a shotgun approach. Before, it was like we would analyze a neighborhood, for example, and it was sort of like, broken down within zip codes. It's like, here's all the data for this zip code. And now it's like, here's everything
like
that's
a million
happening
years
on your
ago.
street. Yeah,
right.
Because one side of the street has a view, the other side of the street doesn't have a view. So we can actually create an algorithm that works just with views and eliminate the rest of your neighborhood, even though they have the same home, same layout, same model, for example. So that would be an example of how to utilize that.
To wrap up on this point before we move on to our second one, I would assume, because I know you will, technology plus the human relationship, that's a powerful combination. One or the other in today's market doesn't cut it. It has to be 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, you have to still coordinate with the person that you're working with who has boots on the ground that knows what's going on. Because even though I can take all that information, I can take all that data using the example of working with the seller, we can compile all the information, we can put a strategy together, still working with buyers and seeing their reaction when they walk into certain homes and understanding what they're looking for now and what's important to them and how trends are changing, how designs are changing, styles are changing, everything helps to take all of that data and put it together to create sort of the perfect recipe so that what comes out at the end is something desirable and not something that sort of misses the mark. Because as you miss the mark, you're going to pay for it on one side or the other.
Good
Either a
point.
buyer's going to come in and hit you on price because you're missing the mark on that end, or you're going to have a situation where a seller's going to have to eat the costs on repairs, or who knows.
All right.
Just depends on how it all transforms from that information.
Beautiful. All right, we're going to transition over to Dwight for a second. The lending side, the capital side of things, and technology. Dwight, why and what's going on now with the speed of mortgage approvals related to AI and just technology in general? It's got to be fascinating. I know you've shared some stories on the out there.
It keeps evolving, John. But I mean, it's taking it now from just a minor apply concept, and it's running it through its various algorithms to gain access. We call it day one certainty, where it can gain access to employment, to bank records, to everything, run a soft credit pull, and then hand you almost a presentable file.
Give me an example of this. Wait a minute. So you said it's going to verify a job. It's going to check bank
We're already
records?
doing that. It's already doing that. But we have to go out there and ask for its day one certainty. That's what we call it. And
Day one certainty.
The employers, and everybody does now, the employers, the banks, everybody are participating to this because they don't want to have to verify employment, verify.
So what is there, a database?
I don't know. Yeah.
What is there? There's a database
It verifies. Yeah, it'll go right in and it'll verify that employer based upon the social and all that. It tells you how much they work, how much hourly they get paid. It's crazy what it'll say. It gives you.
Know that.
It hands the whole thing to you. So eventually, there's a world where you're not going to have to supply a pay stub or a W-2 or even a bank statement or anything, because it's already going to all be there, transmitted through the technology. That little wizard back there is going to send it all to me. So, but it's amazing. And people are used to some of the AI already, John, in the automated underwriting, right, where we put the scenario in and it generates an approval based upon the algorithms and the data points that it created. So I mean, it's being very, very aggressive right now. It's only going to be probably more aggressive as time goes on. It's just going to be fascinating.
Final question I have on this topic with you. How long does it take once your assistant hits enter on the computer for all of that to happen? The job verification, the income verification, all the things that I know used to take you, because you've done this for so long, days or
30
hours
days.
or days. Yeah, 30 days. Yeah.
To get
How long realistically now, when you hit that enter button, can you have a decision?
Half day.
Okay. Oh, I'm surprised it's even that long.
I mean,
okay.
to get all of that, not everybody, it takes a little bit of time, but I can do the automated underwriting in, 20 minutes.
Okay.
So I can, whatever, and again, if somebody goes through an online application and puts most fields in, I can take it and run credit, import it, and have an approval in 15 minutes,
Amazing.
And so, and then it's just up to verifying what you have put in the approval, right? But that day one certainty, that automatic is going to take all of that out. There's not going to be any guessing. So when a customer says they make $8,000 a month, it's going to take it, it's going to pull it in, it'll actually compute it what it does. John, it's so slick right now, as you can imagine. I can take tax returns, throw them in, it'll compute tax returns just like that.
There you go.
We used to spend days and hours on tax returns. All these carryover losses and blah, blah, blah. It analyzes it to the T. It's pretty slick. So That's AI already coming our way.
I think we lost Dwight there for a second. Here comes the snow. There we go. You back, Dwight?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right,
that's just AI, John. It's just going to keep getting.
Oh yeah, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. No doubt about it. All right, Mr. Clark, let's go back to you. tell me about your list of winners versus losers. What are the winners doing right now, utilizing technology in the world of real estate versus, I hate using the word losers, but let's just use it. Winners and losers, right? Let's start with the winning side first. What are they doing now?
Well, I mean, similar to kind of like what Dwight was saying, it used to take 30 days to pre-approval or whatever. When we would run comparable sales in a specific area, we would manually retrieve that data, put it together, compile it, and then interpret it, and then spit out a response. And really, there wasn't so much of a formula as much as there was an opinion based upon the data that you're collecting. And now you can use AI models, put in all of that information, even more so, look at the trends of the surrounding neighborhoods to see what the percentage of list price, for example, that they're getting, days on market, how many days to contract, how many days to close. So you're able to use, how do I say this? So instead of just using comparable sales of a specific neighborhood that your home is
Mm-hmm.
in, for example, if I'm trying to sell your
Mm-hmm.
home, I can pull comparable sales of all the neighborhoods that are within, let's say, a certain commuting range of your home. And I can look at the same data trends of those neighborhood and then compile all that information to make an analysis that shows basically that all of the homes in that entire area, not just your specific street or neighborhood or whatever, are all trending towards an upward cycle or a downward cycle, or
Mm-hmm.
getting increased days on market or decreased days on market, or they're getting 97% of their asking price compared to another neighborhood that might be getting 105%. So you can get more precise on, like, just because your neighbor who has the same exact home as yours was priced at, let's say, $800,000, and they sold in 30 days for 805, and taking your information with your house, your model, et cetera, and then starting to look at the analysis of the other homes around you and saying, wow, that we're actually trending upward, and that one got 810, and that one got 815, and that one got 820, using that same sort of example. We can go, okay, well, for your house, instead of listing at 805, which is what your neighbor listed for, since we're trending that way, we'll go 812, or
Mm-hmm.
815 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And it seems like it's not that big of a deal, but that's 10 grand. I mean, that covers all your closing costs, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And plus more. So things like that. You got to use the data and compile it correctly, though.
All right. When we come back, I'm curious now as far as your clients, are they blown away with the amount of data that you now have? Or do you, like some of us, we keep a lot of that data to ourselves and just say, look, this is the result. The client really doesn't want to know how the cake is made. They just want to smell that great cake. So I'm curious if that's the same thing that you're seeing in real estate. Joining us, of course, Aaron Clark of Edge Realty and Dwight Millard. Let us turn it over to Kristen Stowe to wrap us up in the Right Now Traffic Center. Hello, Kristen. Welcome back to the Jon Sanchez Show on News Talk 780 KOH. Mr. Millard, your phone number, sir.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Aaron Clark of Edge Realty.
Yeah, 775-673-6700. Almost forgot.
I had to think about that one. I know.
No one even calls me anymore. They just text me.
Just text you. Yeah, no kidding. Wish my industry allowed that. I really do. Oh my goodness. All right. So we've been talking about technology and how technology is redefining the real estate business. Again, Aaron's been at this a long time, but he's young and he's still very tech savvy. We always like to pick his brain about some of the latest things he's doing to help his clients out. So Aaron, you were using AI in our last segment, talking about, again, just the laser, sniper analysis, to use your words, of the data you can find when you're trying to determine the price to list a home, or what price your clients you want them to pay to buy a home. But I'm curious, you have so much data now, and as the theme of today's show is, technology plus human intervention is a powerful package. You can't do it with just one or the other. It's got to be, again, my analogy of 1 + 1 = 2. So therefore, how much data do your clients really want, or do clients in general? Do they even care about the nuts and bolts side of it? Or are they like ours, where it's like
really
10,000-foot view?
It's really personality based, but more than anything, I heard a quote a long time ago that said, the mark of a good leader is turning complicated situations and making them easy for people to understand, right? So I kind of rest on that, in the sense of, yeah, nobody wants to know how the sausage is made. So I get the information and we go over it, and we more talk about strategy based on the result of that information, not
There you
how
go.
we got the result. And because, when you start doing these things for a long period of time, and you know what you're talking about, and you're popping off with information that they are just kind of blown away by,
Mm-hmm.
then there's an instant trust factor where they go, like, clearly you know what's going on. So let's just, whatever your suggestion is, let's do it. And then when you actually go through the process and it works out exactly like you told them, then they go, my goodness, like
Yes.
this was so easy. Like,
Here's 5 friends that would love to
yeah,
meet with
here's
you.
5 friends, but at the same time, like, you made it so easy. Why am I paying you? Because they don't
Right.
see all of the stuff on the back
Yes.
end that you're doing,
Yes.
which is a good thing.
Yes.
It's a compliment, and they don't even
Absolutely.
understand that they're complimenting you
Yeah.
in a situation like that.
This is a question to both of you. Dwight, I'll start with you. Now we're going to ask the same question. Do you guys see with, again, how technology / AI is impacting both of your businesses? Do you ever see a point where literally, I don't know what the time period is, I'll pick 5 days, that from the time Aaron accepts an offer or his let's say Aaron's representing the buyer. So that minute that the seller accepts the offer, we know it's all digitally signed now. Could we see a closing, guys? I'm talking loan funding, everything, and say as little as 5 days. Where's this going? I guess is what I'm getting to.
John, legally we're at 7 right now, so yeah, maybe 7's going to be the magic
7
number.
what? What do you mean?
7 days. I can't because of TRID now. Remember the 2010
Okay.
Dodd-Frank. So it's a 7-day. That's the
'Cause you have
quickest
a
I can
cooling off
close.
period and all
Yep,
that.
that's the
Okay.
quickest I can close. But that is, I think, as we encroach on this, I think that'll be more of a norm than an exception. I think 7 to 15 days on the outside.
Aaron, how about from the purchase
I mean, I
sales side
think
of it?
that although, yes, someday we can be quick like that, I think that it's such a massive momentum process for people. Even if we can do it that fast, I'm not sure they're going to be able to adopt it mentally that fast. There
Okay.
is a
Because
there's
the
a
size of the
strategic
acquisition.
value in slowing things up a little, having an
Sure.
inspection a week later, getting an appraisal, going through all this stuff, reading through the CC&Rs of the HOA demand, etc. Yeah, I mean, we can shorten it up for sure, but and then also people got to move. There's also a logistical
Yeah.
component. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the technology will be there where we can sort of like make it happen according to what everybody's desire and needs are, and it won't be so locked into a certain time period. But it's massive. I mean, people are spending the most money they've ever spent in their life
Yes.
in a
Yes.
transaction with real estate. So
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I'm not sure people will adopt it, even though they can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah, that's going to be again. Just as time goes on and people adapt technology in their life, and who would have ever thought that we could, take a video on a telephone or do any of the things we do just in our phone, right? Much less other great technology. But here we are. We've adapted it. So that's why I'm just wondering if at some point, it's like, yeah, I bought and sold my house in 5 days.
Yeah.
I mean, Dwight, it sounds like you're almost there, right?
Yeah.
From a
Yeah.
lending standpoint, and
Yeah.
you're more the human side, Aaron, being the realtor, right? Like you said, people have to move and closings have to happen, and so on and so forth. But it's going to be interesting times, guys, no doubt about it. Mr. Clark, thank you so much for joining us. I guess you're going to be back on Thursday with us, so we'll have
I'll
another
be here.
somewhat similar related topic with you to pick your brain on that. Mr. Millard, always a pleasure. All right,
you,
everybody,
sir.
we'll do it again tomorrow on the Jon Sanchez Show. God bless. Have a great afternoon.
Dwight Millard, NMLS ID number 241259, a licensed mortgage loan officer with Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited and Equal Housing Lender. NMLS ID number 134871. The information shared on this live broadcast is for general information purposes only and does not constitute financial or mortgage advice. Listeners should consult directly with a licensed mortgage professional for guidance tailored to their specific situation. All loans are subject to credit approval and program guidelines. Not all applicants will qualify. Loan terms and availability may vary by state and are subject to change without notice. Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited is licensed in multiple states. For a full list of state licenses and disclosures, please visit https://www.highlandsmortgage.com/licenses/. The views expressed during this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited. Jon Sanchez is a registered investment advisor, and the opinions expressed by Sanchez Gaunt Capital Management, LLC on this show are their own and do not reflect the opinions of News Talk 780 or its parent company, Cumulus Media. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for any individual. Listeners are encouraged to seek advice from a qualified tax, legal, or investment advisor to determine whether any information presented may be suitable for their specific situation. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.